Hey everyone, it's Attorney Jazz. It's Labor Day and I just want to give you guys a quick piece of advice for your LSAT study. So everyone wants to get that high LSAT score, but you can't do that without building what I like to call your LSAT house. So your LSAT house, it includes the foundation, the blinds, the drywall, all that stuff, but you can't move on to the drywall, the roof, any of that without that foundation. We came across this foundation that's being built in our neighborhood and I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a good visual, right? So this foundation over here, you can't do anything else without it. And guess what? It has to be approved by a local inspector. And that local inspector is, like your LSAT prep tutor or class or, doing many practice exams. And only when you get that structure right, can you go on to timing, doing complete practice exams and getting a 160 practice LSAT score. You can't do any of that without getting that foundation right. So once you get that foundation right, you get that approved by your local inspector, aka your LSAT tutor or prep course or your practice exams, you see that improved score, then guess what? You start to see a house. You start to see your score increase. You start to see yourself improving in the sections that you weren't as good in. You start to see that you're way better with assumption questions than you used to be. But that only comes after you get that foundation right, which is up the street. And guess what? How long does it take to go from a foundation to a somewhat ready house? Oh wow, right? It doesn't happen overnight, right? So why do you expect your LSAT prep process to be the same way? It's not an overnight, it's my money, I want it now approach. No, it takes a while to get to this. But guess what? You can't even live in this yet. You still have some work to do. You still have a lot of time to put in. So at this point, you're doing practice exams once a week. You're starting to work on your timing. You're brushing up on the skills that you still aren't 100% sure on. And next, you get to that final house. So once you lay that LSAT foundation, you start building your house, guess what? You get to that final product, which is this beautiful house in our neighborhood, which I absolutely love. But guess what? Everybody wants this house, but they don't want to go through the journey to get through this house. You don't just pick out a plot of land and build your house, do you? No, it takes a while to get there. So if you do the strategies, if you do the amount of practice exams that you should, then you'll get there. But let me guess, you guys are probably wondering, okay, so what are the strategies? How do I lay my foundation? Well, guess what? That's why I created the Pre-Law Masterclass. I'm going to show you all the strategies, everything you need to get your foundation right so that you can move on to the drywall, so that you can move on to the roofing, and so that you can get to this final house, which is your 160 or 170 or whatever score you need, LSAT score. So check out the Pre-Law Masterclass at jazztalkslaw.com.